How is Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with just weeks under center, already showing up seasoned NFL quarterbacks? That's the question many analysts are wrestling with after watching him slice through pro-level defenses with calm efficiency. From his poise under pressure to pinpoint throws in tight coverage, Sanders is flashing traits teams typically expect after years of experience, not 2 games. And yet, he's still sitting behind less dynamic quarterbacks as Kevin Stefanski and the Browns staff hesitate to fully commit. The gap between what Sanders is showing on the field and how he's being handled off, it is fueling outrage for good reason. The league may be witnessing the rise of a franchise-changing quarterback in real time, and how he's managed today could define the next decade.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
His readiness, leadership, and production are demanding a new level of respect, one that NFL teams can't afford to ignore any longer. The NFL isn't supposed to be this wrong this often. But here we are, again, watching a young quarterback do everything right and still not get the shot he's earned. Shedeur Sanders isn't just turning heads anymore. He's forcing NFL insiders, analysts, and even opposing coaches to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about rookie quarterbacks. And if that sounds dramatic, it's because it is. From the moment he stepped onto the field, Shedeur showed he was different. Not just talented, but smart, accurate, composed. The kind of quarterback who doesn't just react, he reads. He doesn't flinch under pressure. He processes a defense, makes the correct throw, and leads like someone who's been doing this for years. And somehow, he's still being benched behind players who don't offer half of what he brings to the... This is where the outrage is coming from. It's not hype. It's not bias. It's what happens when everyone sees the obvious, except the people making the decisions. Because Shedeur has proven himself against real competition, against professional defenses, against elite-level pressure. And he hasn't just survived, he's thrived. 2 weeks as a starter was all it took for experts to start comparing him, favorably, to Caleb Williams. Not because of media buzz, not because of draft status, but because of the actual football being played. Create new folder, Caleb Williams. Caleb came in as a consensus #1 pick, the guy who was supposed to light up the league from day one. And yet his early performances have been a mix of flashes and frustration. He's had moments, sure, but he's also looked overwhelmed. The reads aren't always there. The timing is off. The decision-making hasn't been consistent. Meanwhile, Shedeur, without the benefit of full starter reps, without the protection of hype, without the give of time, is out here looking like the NFL-ready quarterback. That's not opinion. That's happening on the field, in real games. So how is it that a player showing top-tier decision-making, precision passing, and advanced mental processing is still considered not ready? Why is Shedeur Sanders, despite being better than expectations, still riding the bench? The answer isn't football. It's ego. It's bias. It's outdated thinking that prioritizes narratives over numbers. Because if we're being honest, the reason Shedeur is still being overlooked has nothing to do with his performance, and everything to do with how NFL coaching staffs and front offices still get in their own way. There's a playbook for how quarterbacks are supposed to succeed in the NFL. Be highly drafted, sit for a while, learn from a veteran, fit a certain mold, say the right things in press conferences, then maybe you get your shot. Shedeur skipped that script, and that's the problem. He wasn't drafted first overall. He didn't come into the league with pre-packaged media praise. And he's not some passive, wide-eyed rookie waiting quietly in the background. He came in prepared, confident, polished. And that's not how the system likes its young quarterbacks to behave. But it is how you win games. Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski. And if teams weren't so addicted to their own pre-draft evaluations and conservative decision-making, Shedeur would be starting right now. Not because of potential, not because of PR, but because he's simply the best quarterback option available. And this isn't just about one team. It's not just about the Browns or Kevin Stefanski's refusal to let go of a flawed plan. It's about the league as a whole and how it evaluates quarterback talent. Shedeur has forced this conversation. His play has exposed the cracks in the scouting model, the flaws in how readiness is measured. The illusion that raw tools matter more than in-game intelligence, poise, and actual production. Because while teams are busy searching for the next big thing, they're ignoring the guy who's already doing the job. Let's go back to the basics. Accuracy? Shedeur's ball placement is among the best of any rookie this year. He throws with anticipation. He puts the ball where only his receiver can get it. That's not something you teach. That's instinct. That's preparation. That's NFL-caliber execution. One-game IQ? He's reading defenses like a seasoned veteran, adjusting protections, calling audibles. You don't give that kind of responsibility to a quarterback unless you trust him. And when he's been given that control, he hasn't let anyone down. Poise? Watch the tape. He doesn't panic when the play breaks down. He resets. He keeps his eyes downfield. He doesn't throw picks trying to play hero ball. He plays smart, he plays safe, but he still makes... And let's talk about leadership. Shedeur doesn't just perform. He elevates everyone around him. His presence in the huddle matters. His ability to stay cool under fire spreads to the rest of the offense. That's not hype. That's impact. So what are we doing here? Why is a quarterback with all these traits still being boxed out? At some point, you have to stop asking what Shedeur could be and start recognizing what he already is. A top-tier prospect? Sure. But more importantly, a quarterback who's ready right now. And the longer teams ignore that, the more they risk losing him entirely. Because this isn't going to be a secret much longer. If Cleveland won't play him, another team will. If Kevin Stefanski won't take the risk, another coach will. And when that happens, and Shedeur starts winning games for someone else, the narrative will flip overnight. He won't just be a rising star. He'll be the one that got away. The Browns have a choice to make. They can continue to play it safe, protect egos, and wait for something to magically click with quarterbacks who aren't delivering. Or they can give the ball to the guy who's already proving he can handle it. This is bigger than one roster. This is about how the NFL handles change. Because the game is evolving. And quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders are the future. Athletic, intelligent, composed under pressure, and mentally sharp enough to command an offense at a high level immediately. If teams don't start adapting, they're going to get left behind. The scouting system is broken. The evaluation process is outdated. And every snap Shedeur doesn't take as proof that the league still has a long way to go in how it identifies and develops its stars. But the truth always breaks through eventually. And when it does, Shedeur won't just be a promising young quarterback. He'll be the one who forced the league to change. Drop your take in the comments. Has Shedeur Sanders done enough to start right now? Are the Browns failing him? Is he already ahead of Caleb Williams? Let us know below. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns. And share this with someone who still thinks draft status is more important than game day execution. Because this isn't just a debate anymore. It's a reckoning. And Shedeur Sanders is right at the center of it. What we're witnessing with Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback controversy. It's a test. A test of vision. A test of leadership. And for the Cleveland Browns, it's becoming a test of courage. Because right now, Shedeur isn't just exceeding expectations. He's embarrassing them. The expectation was that he'd sit quietly behind a so-called proven starter, take notes, learn the ropes, and maybe get a few snaps if things went south. What nobody expected was that he'd look more composed, more effective, and more NFL-ready than the quarterbacks ahead of him. And the result? The coaching staff has no idea what to do with him. Kevin Stefanski is standing on the sideline with a decision that could define his career. Stick with the system, the veteran, the safe pick, or throw that all out and hand the team over to the quarterback who's already outperforming the guy you trusted. This is where things stop being theoretical. We're past a phase of potential. We've seen what Shedeur can do. In limited time, he's made throws that turn heads. He's handled blitzes at buckle knees. He's orchestrated drives like he's been doing it for 10 years. And somehow, someway, he's still not been given full control of the... Let's just call it what it is, failure. Not on Shedeur's part. He's doing everything right. It's a failure of evaluation, a failure of trust, and above all, a failure to adapt. Because what this entire situation exposes is how deeply rooted the NFL is in its old ways. They still cling to pedigree. They still obsess over pre-draft rankings. They still let media narratives shape personnel decisions. And when a player like Shedeur comes along, someone who doesn't follow the expected path, they panic. They call it waiting your turn. But what it really is, fear. Fear of being wrong. Fear of going off script. Fear of shaking up the depth chart, even when the film screams for it. But the clock is ticking. And every game Shedeur doesn't start adds more weight to the mistake being made. Let's be blunt. Shedeur Sanders is doing things most rookie quarterbacks can't. He's doing things that even some starters around the league struggle to do. And not only is he executing, it's the way he's doing it that should have teams on alert. We're talking next-level accuracy, not just hitting receivers in stride, but putting the ball exactly where it needs to be to avoid turnovers and keep drives alive. We're talking timing. The kind of rhythm that only comes from a deep understanding of route progressions, coverage shells, and pre-snap reads. He's not guessing out there. He's diagnosing. He's anticipating. And he's doing it with a calmness that says, this isn't too big for me. So why are we still pretending he's not ready? Is it because of the name on the back of his jersey? The media baggage? The idea that if he succeeds, it proves everybody else was wrong about where he should have been drafted, how long he should have sat, and how developed he was. Because if that's the reason, then shame on the league. This game is supposed to be a meritocracy. The best players play. Period. Except that's clearly not happening here. Create new folder. Caleb Williams. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams, the supposed golden boy, is going through it. His learning curve has been steep. His struggles are visible. And that's fine, he's a rookie. That's normal. But when you put his performance next to Shedeur's, it raises serious questions. Caleb is still adjusting to NFL speed, still figuring out how to manage pressure, still ironing out his decision-making. And to be clear, nobody's saying he won't become great. He very well might. But right now, he's not playing at Shedeur's level. One. And that's the part everyone's whispering about. But nobody wants to admit out loud. Because if Shedeur is better right now, then it blows a hole in everything we've been told about how quarterbacks are ranked, drafted, and developed. It tells us that the entire system, the one that scouts swear by, that GMs trust with their careers, might be flat out wrong. It tells us that actual performance on the field matters way more than a player's draft pedigree or how polished they looked in a combine interview. It tells us that some players aren't projects just because the media didn't crown them early. And if the NFL is unwilling to accept that, then Shedeur Sanders is going to force them to, because this is a turning point. The Browns have a rare opportunity to get it right before it's too late, to put their faith in the guy who's already earned it, instead of clinging to the guy who was simply handed it. This doesn't need to be complicated. The job of a head coach is to give your team the best chance to win. Right now, the player giving the Browns that chance is not the one starting under center. It's the guy they won't put in. And every week they keep him sidelined as another week of wasted potential. You want to talk about franchise-altering mistakes? This is what it looks like. Because what happens if Shedeur finally gets his chance somewhere else? What happens if he goes to a team that actually believes in him? What happens if he starts leading that team to wins? Starts earning Pro Bowl nods, starts doing everything Cleveland should have let him do from the start. You've seen that story before. And so have Browns fans. They've lived it. So this time, they better hope it plays out differently. Because the fan base can see what's happening. Analysts can see what's happening. And soon the entire league will too. If Stefanski waits too long, he's not just risking games, he's risking his job. Because there's only so long you can ignore greatness before it starts to look like sabotage. And make no mistake, what Shedeur Sanders is doing is greatness. It's unpolished, it's unfiltered, but it's real. It's happening on the field, against NFL defenses, under pressure, in moments that matter. He's not asking for hype. He's not campaigning in interviews. He's producing, and he's letting his game do the talking. If that's not enough for this coaching staff, then maybe it's the staff that needs to be replaced. Because at this point, Shedeur has done his job. Now it's time for Browns to do theirs. If they won't, then someone else. Here's the thing no one in NFL front offices wants to say out loud. Shedeur Sanders is making them look bad, not because he's flashy or arrogant or breaking some unspoken rookie rule book. No, it's because he's doing everything right, and it's exposing how broken the quarterback evaluation system truly is. He's not just better than expected. He's better than the guys who were expected to be great. And that's the problem. When a rookie outperforms the league's golden boy, when Shedeur Sanders starts looking more ready than Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, it doesn't just challenge opinions. It challenges reputations, entire scouting departments, front offices, media machines. Everyone who told you that Caleb was a generational talent and that Shedeur was a question mark now has to sit with the fact that, on the field, it's Shedeur who's doing more with less. And he's doing it calmly, confidently, without excuses. Let's be real. Caleb Williams was supposed to be the next big thing. And again, this is an attack on Caleb. He's a talented quarterback with a strong future. But right now, the gap between him and Shedeur isn't just smaller than advertised. It might be running in the opposite direction. Shedeur is more accurate. His reads are cleaner. His poise under pressure, sharper. He's throwing into tight coverage with conviction. He's commanding the huddle. He's processing NFL-level defenses like it's Week 16, not Week 2 of a rookie season. And here's what's wild. He's doing it without the benefit of full starter reps, without the safety net of being the franchise guy, and without the coaching staff fully backing him. That's not just impressive. So what exactly is Kevin Stefanski doing? Because this has now become the conversation around the Browns. Not the run game, not the defense, not their win-loss column. It's the fact that the most NFL-ready quarterback on their roster might be holding a clipboard, that the guy with the most upside is stuck behind quarterbacks who don't move the needle. And it's not like Stefanski hasn't had chances to pivot. It's not like Shedeur hasn't earned his shot. Every time he steps onto the field, he gives you a glimpse of what the Browns could be if they got out of their own way. A franchise with an identity, an offense with momentum, a quarterback with vision, timing, and control. But instead, they're wasting time. And let's not sugarcoat it. Time is everything in the NFL. You don't get forever to figure it out. You don't get to waste a season seeing what works. You win or you're gone. And Stefanski, for whatever reason, is gambling his future on being too careful. That never works. The conservative play always feels smart until you're sitting at home in January wondering how you missed a playoff by 1 game because you didn't make the switch in time. There is no upside to waiting anymore. Every argument for letting Shedeur develop has already been dismantled by his own performance. He's playing clean, mature football now. His decision-making already outpaces half the starters in the league. His understanding of pressure, clock management, and passing windows, it's not just above average for a rookie, it's better than some vets. And the more you look at it, the more you realize this isn't just about Shedeur versus Caleb. This is about a quarterback who's being actively held back by an outdated system that refuses to admit when it's wrong. How many more games need to go by before Stefanski acknowledges what's obvious? How many more series need to stall? How many more veteran mistakes do you need to see before you realize the rookie wouldn't have made them? And this isn't a fluke. This isn't a hot streak. What Shedeur is doing is a result of preparation, discipline, and a football IQ that simply cannot be taught. He grew up around the game, yes, but that doesn't guarantee success. What does guarantee success is what he's doing now. Showing up, outperforming expectations, and staying ready even when the opportunity isn't being handed to him. That kind of maturity, that's not normal. And you don't bench that kind of quarterback. You build around him. But if the Browns can't see that, the league will. This is how it always happens. A team ignores a rising star because they're clinging to a plan that no longer makes sense. Then another team scoops him up, gives him the runway he deserves, and suddenly everyone acts shocked when he thrives. Except it won't be shocking. Not to those who've been paying attention. Because this is no longer about projection. It's about results. And Shedeur is delivering them. So the question becomes, what are the Browns really afraid of? Are they afraid of admitting they didn't expect this? That they didn't see this level of polish coming so soon? Are they afraid of backlash if it doesn't work out? Or are they afraid of the conversation shifting? of having to explain why it took this long to give the best quarterback on the roster the ball? Whatever the reason, it's wearing thin. And the longer this goes on, the worse it... Because if Shedeur continues on this trajectory, and every sign says he will, he's not just going to be QB1. He's going to be a problem for every team that passed on him. For every coach who buried him on the depth chart. For every GM who thought they knew better. And the irony? The NFL loves underdog stories. Loves the prove them wrong narrative. But when it's happening in real time, when the quarterback in question doesn't check the traditional boxes, it's like they don't know how to handle it. So they stall. They wait and see. They waste talent. But Shedeur Sanders is not going to be wasted. Not for long. Because performance like this cannot be denied forever. And once the league catches up, it's going to force a reset in how talent is judged. One, we've talked about combined stats for years. Hand size, 40 times. Throwing velocity. But what about who wins games? What about who makes the right reads when it matters? What about the guy who walks onto the field, takes control, and executes like he's been there before? That guy is Shedeur Sanders. And if Cleveland won't acknowledge it, someone else will. The Browns are standing on the edge of a turning point, and they're hesitating. But talent doesn't wait. Leadership doesn't wait. Quarterbacks don't develop through sitting. They develop through playing, through taking ownership of the moment. Shedeur's already doing that. And the longer they keep him on the bench, the more they're holding back not just his growth, but the team's. You can feel it, can't you? That tension between the old way and the right way. The stubborn system versus the obvious reality. And the second they let go of the fear, the second they really commit to the player who's earned it, everything changes. The Browns finally find consistency. The locker room rallies. The city sees a future. And the rest of the league? They start rewriting their scouting reports. Because they'll have Shedeur Sanders is redefining the conversation. Not with press conferences. Not with Twitter clips. With play. With results. With a kind of quarterbacking that's rare, steady, and exactly what this league is supposed to reward. So the Browns have a choice. Stick with a plan that isn't working. Or embrace the quarterback who's already changing. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Should Shedeur be QB1 right now? Is the Browns coaching staff asleep at the wheel? Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe for more takes that cut through the noise. And share this with someone still clinging to the old scouting playbook. Because ready or not, Shedeur Sanders isn't coming. He's already here.